10 inmates escaped from jail. I cannot believe this. And nobody notices for several hours? You really trying to tell me that? They found out the next day? Nah, this is not a movie. I'm telling you, this is real life in New Orleans. This is not Shawshank Redemption. This is not Schofield and Prison Break. Nah. And wait till you hear who helped them. I am telling you, listen, spoiler alert. They're throwing the maintenance guy under the bus. He is the fall guy for right now. Just pay attention. They're trying to steer you a certain direction, all right? So let's break this down. Let me roll the clips. Let me stop playing with you. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead, baby.
All new this afternoon, a maintenance worker at Orleans Parish Prison has been arrested for allegedly helping 10 inmates escape on Friday. That's according to our sister station in New Orleans. Court documents allege Sterling Williams shut off the water so the inmates could disconnect the pipes. Williams said he did it because one of the inmates threatened to shank him. Meanwhile, the manhunt for the remaining 6 inmates continues. Katie Wyas shows how police are using facial recognition cameras to aid their investigation.
New surveillance video with facial recognition shows 2 inmates, including Kendall Miles, walking down tourist Central Bourbon Street hours after breaking free. Miles was arrested roughly an hour later. He was found hiding under a car. But sources tell CBS News there was a delayed response after changes were made last month to the camera's alert system, changes the city allegedly requested over misidentification concerns.
We need those cameras.
Attorney General Liz Murrell supports the cameras, managed between state police and a nonprofit called Project NOLA.
Those cameras are enormously beneficial tools, and I think you can see in the reality of that having played out in this situation.
But the ACLU claims the cameras lack oversight and raise civil rights concerns.
Witnesses are under threat right now. I think we do everything that we can to bring these people back in.
Murrell is leading the investigation into who may have helped the 10 inmates escape.
One of the questions that I think is on a lot of people's minds is just where were the guards?
So that's all part of our investigation. Nobody wanted this to happen. But if it can take us to a better place and a more secure facility, I think that's good.
And over the weekend, the governor transferred all State Department of Corrections inmates out of this prison here behind me to go serve their time somewhere else. Meanwhile, the New Orleans City Council is meeting to discuss whether or not budget problems are partially to blame for the security breakdowns here.
I'm just telling you, the story is only going to get wilder. You understand? Here's how wild the story gets. These guys, 10 of them, broke out by yanking a toilet out the wall. Can you believe that? Last time I seen that, I believe that was Prison Break. Correct me if I'm wrong, you understand me? But a hole? Wow. Then they cut through bars. I don't know how they cut through bars, what they used, but we got to get to the detail of that right there. They dipped out the back loading dock. This was just like perfectly planned. I mean, obviously the jail was going down any day now, you know what I mean? Like, they had so many weaknesses, so many weak spots. Not only that, they scaled the fence with blankets over the razor wire. This is some straight Prison Break acting right here, isn't it not? In Prison Break, Michael Schofield, I believe he had everybody escape through a toilet, right? Through the back of the toilet. Or it was either the toilet or the sink, one of the two. Or I believe it's one unit, right? But I'm just saying, it seems like the same exact thing. They also use blankets over the wires. Yo, this is some straight movie stuff right here, but it's not. It's real life. And to top it off, they left a message behind talking about too easy, LOL, but instead of spelling it T-O-O, they spelled T-O. Obviously, English and writing is not their cup of tea. You can see right there, right? But why would you write too easy, LOL? You're asking for it. You should have just left quietly, but now you're taunting them. And then here's the crazier part. The guards didn't notice this till 8:30 a.m. the next day. Mind you, they left the day before. So this is diabolical work right now. A lot of questions need to be answered in this prison right here. They need to condemn the whole jail, shut it down, and that's it. It seems like this is going to be an ongoing thing. Remember, I said it. This will be an ongoing thing. They're not going to be able to fix all these prisons everywhere. I'm just telling you this right now. Prepare for this to keep continuing. Not to mention, check this little clip out from one of the inmates who escaped.
We had 100 shots when we ran over you. You're looking like a nigga stand over you. I open your tie like a can opener. Nigga smoke your pot and then romance over. I'm in a nut on the back street. Make you kick out and run like an athlete. People swinging in the Tahoe. I guess they heard them selling Rollo. The people they came from the front and the back. Gang, and I was the side though. How I never rat. Nigga beat me up, gang, and hand me a blindfold. This is shit that I signed to. Young, and I had to remind you. You're going Instagram, going live, but you ain't showing the nigga wanna find you. I got the fish that can find you.
Now, on Instagram, they really cheering him on. You know what I mean? He's considered a neighborhood hero, and I'm going to explain why. Unfortunately, in these situations, you're going to be hailed a hero. If you're a civilian, you understand what I'm talking about. If you're law enforcement, you're going to have a hard time trying to understand this right here, okay? I understand eye for an eye is not the way to go, but listen, baby, if this was you, you tell me, what would you do? It says Derek Groves, one of the 11 men who escaped from prison, has a tragic backstory. His grandmother was reportedly killed by a corrupt police officer. As he got older, he located the officer's family and sought revenge. I don't know who he caught revenge on. Hopefully it wasn't someone who was innocent. Not condoning the revenge. I'm just saying, if you're going to go for revenge, at least let it be the person who had something to do with the initial crime, correct? So I guess he goes by the name Wu, nickname Wu. His name is Derek Wu Graves, a 27-year-old, remains at large following a mass escape from the Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans on May 16th.
An hour after last Friday morning's jailbreak, security camera footage shows 3 of the escaped inmates walking through the CBD. A source tells Fox 8 that the video shows convicted murderer Derek Groves, accused murderer Antoine Massey, as well as one of the other inmates, Lenton Van Buren, out on Baronne Street between Howard Avenue and Julius Street. The footage upsets those looking into last week's breakout, like the Metropolitan Crime Commission's Raphael Goeneche.
Let's not get things misconstrued, all right? Check this out. These weren't shoplifters. These are not your regular shoplifters. We talking dudes charged with M. You know what that means. Auto theft, domestic abuse. Jermaine Donald, Derek Groves, Leo Tate, Lenton Van Buren, Antoine Massey. One of them already had life for murder. You understand? One of them already had life. So it looked like some of them had some possibility of parole, but they weren't trying to wait. They were trying to escape. As of now, half of them got caught and the other half still at large.
His agency, along with local, state, and federal auditors, are combing through evidence to see how the breakout could have been prevented. Goeneche says it starts with personnel, with the sheriff's office saying the person watching the security cameras left momentarily to get food that morning.
So right here we got a list of all of the inmates along with their current charges. The 5 escapees at large, which is Jermaine Donald, age 43. He's charged with second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and possession of a firearm. Then we got Derek Groves, age 28, convicted of a second-degree M. Wow. Antonio Massey, age 33, charged with domestic abuse involving strangulation along with automotive theft. Leo Tate, age 32, charged with second-degree M. Lenton Van Buren, age 27, charged with second-degree M. All of these are M's. Sheesh. Then you got the ones who are actually apprehended. We got Corey Boyd, age 20. Shit, your boy is age 20, but it depends now. I know he's super young, but it's the charge. He may be in there for life, so he's looking at it like, catch me if you can at this point. He was apprehended last out of the 5, so the majority of them were caught on the same day, and the rest of them were caught like 3 or 4 days later. Then we got Keenan Dennis, age 24. He was caught on the 16th, charged with armed robbery with a firearm, illegal carrying of a weapon during a crime of violence. I don't know why he escaped, but I mean, how much time you think they gave him? This looked like something you could come home to. I don't get it. Then we got Gary Price, age 21, charged with attempted first-degree M, simple assault, criminal damage, domestic abuse, battery, and assault with a weapon. He ain't coming home. I can see why he did that. Then we got Robert Moody, age 22, May 16, so he was caught the same day. I mean, you should have just stayed in the cell, my boy. Charged with attempted M, second-degree battery, and obstruction. Oh, man. Still, these are all charges. Most of them are charges you can come home to eventually. I don't know how much time they were sentenced to. Kendall Miles, age 21. They're all in their 20s. He got caught the same day. Unbelievable. Charged with intention to conceal a weapon, introducing contraband into a prison, and possession of a contraband. You telling me he needed to do this right here? I mean, this kind of offense, you're looking at coming home sometime soon. Why you did this for? I mean, this is diabolical work. I guess some people don't know how to do math correctly because a lot of these things are not adding up.
It starts with personnel, with the sheriff's office saying the person watching the security cameras left momentarily to get food that morning, not watching in real time when the inmates ripped open a cell door.
And if they looked into the cell from which they escaped, they would have seen the toilet ripped from the wall and a gaping hole in the wall.
Goyeneche says jail staff had another chance to check on inmates when at 5:15 that morning, breakfast was served and some meal trays were left untouched.
There were 10 unclaimed trays. So that should have triggered a response to determine why 10 inmates weren't eating.
The prolonged search has forced more than 200 law enforcement officers off of regular duties to track down the remaining inmates, which worries Goyeneche.
They had to put their work aside to address this issue, and their work is sitting there piling up.
Taking you to breaking news now in New Orleans. A maintenance worker has been arrested and accused of helping 10 inmates escape a New Orleans jail. 4 of the men, they have been recaptured, but 6 are still at large. The inmates broke through a cell wall by removing a toilet, and above the hole, they left a mocking, misspelled message reading, "Toe easy."
Better be open, bro. Worried. First, we gotta get that window out. Then we gotta get the bars off.
So at this point, we all know who was blamed for the whole ordeal, right? So how'd this even happen? Here's where it gets messy. They blamed a prison worker named Sterling Williams. You want to know why? They said he shut the water off so they could yank the toilet and sneak out. But this man was threatened by inmates. They told him to unclog the toilet. That's what the whole situation was. They purposely clogged the toilet and told him and threatened him, listen, my boy, you better unclog that toilet or we're going to have some issues. However, what they're saying is, or alleging is that he originally told him that he was threatened, just threatened, nothing else, nothing more. But then when he got an attorney, the attorney said, no, what happened was he had to shut the water off because they clogged the toilet. So he shut it off so he could unclog it. But you know, at this point, everything sounds a little sketchy due to the media and everybody putting a spin to it. You got to ask yourself this, right? What does he really gain from this? What is he gaining? What is this man gaining? He's not getting any money. These guys don't got money. What kind of money they have? They're already doing life in prison. So you tell me, how are they monetizing in prison? Ain't no way in the world that this guy is a maintenance man for however many years he's been working with them, and he say, you know what, I'm going to do this for free. Even though it's going to fall back on me, I'm going to do this for free. No. Sometimes you got to use your brain and see how they're trying to spin a narrative.
New Orleans Jailbreak, a maintenance worker at the Orleans Parish Justice Center, has now been arrested and booked into jail. The district attorney claims the worker shut off water to the toilet, helping 10 inmates escape on Friday. Police have since arrested 4 of the escaped inmates. 6 remain on the run. ABC's Faith Abube is in New Orleans with the latest. And Faith, you just spoke with the district attorney about the arrest. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, Stephanie, we were speaking with the district attorney when that employee was arrested and booked into jail. So details coming to us as it was happening. The DA telling me that he's extremely frustrated that there was such a breakdown in the system and that what they had suspected for days that this may have been an inside job, the evidence has actually led them to that. According to investigators, soon after the escape on Friday, they started interviewing employees at the jail there, and they actually talked to Sterling Williams, the maintenance worker there, and he was the one who admitted to investigators that during the escape, in the early hours of the escape, the inmates asked him to turn off the water to the toilet, that they would move out of the way and crawl behind. You remember we've been reporting that the inmates were able to get into a cell, move away a toilet, crawled through a hole, and got away from the jail running on an interstate.
This was halfway planned out. They just didn't plan it out to the very end. I guess they were planning on the go. They ain't do this correctly. I don't know what made these guys think that this was really gonna work. Now the other 5, maybe their plan was a little bit better because they haven't got caught yet. Maybe they far away from the state already at this point. This wasn't just a jailbreak. It was an operation. A couple of these escapees had rods waiting. I feel like out of the 10, the 5 that's away right now just needed the other 5 for interference. They knew that they were going to get caught. Let them 5 get caught while we make the escape. So Courtney Harris and Casey Smith, right? Cavante Baptiste, all arrested for helping them either get supplies or stay out the radar. I mean, if you went in a store for them while they waited around the block just so they don't be seen by CCTV, guess what? You were aiding and abetting. Yep. They're going to get anybody who said that they saw them and didn't say a damn thing. That's how it goes. So now we got a network of people assisting multiple murder suspects. Isn't that diabolical? Hey, look, man. A lot of people always think that most escaped convicts are trying to escape so they can commit more crime. I think they're trying to stay out the way for a very long time. However, if someone is trying to drop a dime on them, man, it's their life against yours. Duh. See, now my thing is this, right? For whoever it was that was helping him, I don't know how you was tricked into this situation right here. When I say him, I don't mean the maintenance worker. I mean the majority of the inmates that are out at large or the ones that's caught up. How do you get tricked into doing something like that? Because when you get caught, the amount of time you're going to do, I don't understand women. Women are like delusional when they try to keep in touch with a guy who's an inmate. How dumb are you? You got to be real stupid in your brain to think anything can happen after that. Number one, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. They will tell it to the ugliest woman on earth only because it's a woman. They going to G you. You got to be real naive and gullible. I just don't understand it. How do you allow someone who's behind a wall to have control over you like that? It says a lot about you.
It's now been more than a week since 10 inmates escaped from a New Orleans jail. 5 of them remain on the run this morning. And there is some news of another escape now from a nearby jail. NBC's George Solis is in New Orleans with the very latest. George, good morning.
Yeah, Peter, good morning. The local sheriff from that jail sharing this video of inmate Trevon Johnson after he was recaptured overnight. There he is on your screen. He was arrested with the help of Louisiana State Police. He was only on the run for about a day. It was the inmate's second escape from that same jail in a year.
So to sum it up, we got 10 inmates walk out of jail like it's GTA. They blame a plumber and arrest 3 helpers. Half of the crew still on the loose, and let's just say the prison's still wide open for business. I mean, let's see what they're going to do with this. Let's see what the end result. Let's see if the remaining 5 will get caught or if they're going to unalive them. We don't know. Let me know in the comments. Are you buying this story or is this the cover up for a way bigger problem? You let me know. I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel.